One of the most common searches on YouTube by DJs is how to level up as a DJ. Now, in last week's video, I shared with you some very simple yet effective techniques that you could implement into your DJ sets to start that leveling up process. If you haven't watched that, I would highly recommend you check it out. I will leave a link in the description down below, because in this week's video, I'm going to be focusing on some techniques to level up, but off the decks, because as we know, DJing is far more than just turning up to a venue, hammering out some tunes and just improving in that way. It is both on and off the decks. Let's get into it. So the first topic that we are going to cover today, and the first technique that I'm going to share with you, and this is my personal approach, is when it comes to music selection. Now, the majority of DJs out there will probably monitor the Beatport top 10 or top 20 for electronic music. They'll probably monitor the charts that is in the country that they are playing, like the top 40. So here in the UK, it's the top 40 singles chart. And then they will also keep a regular eye on their DJ record pool. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this approach, because as DJs, and especially in the venues that I, for example, play in, we are required to play the biggest tracks in a given moment. And as you will know, if you've watched my channel for a while, I will regularly promote record pools. Of course, my recommendation for a record pool in 2025 is Heavy Hit. If you haven't tried them out yet, do check out the link in the description down below, because you can try them out for just $5 in your first month if you use my code KARLTHOMAS. This isn't sponsored or anything like that, but $5 is an insane deal for a month of music downloads. Now, as I mentioned, there's nothing wrong with looking at the top music in your record pool on the Beatport chart or your local charts. That's fine. That is a great starting point. However, what I would do to take that to a next level is mixing in those big tracks with other more obscure records that I have come across. And there are a couple of websites that I use to do this, including Beatport, and delving a bit deeper into Beatport. So we're going to jump onto the computer now, and I'm going to show you exactly my approach to mix in some of those tracks. And this will help me to stand out to other DJs that are just focused on playing originals and edits that everybody else is playing out there. Okay, so when it comes to digging a little bit deeper into records and building out your collection, I'm on Beatport here. I'm going to show you another website in a moment, but most people will stick to this top 10 that appears on the right hand side. If we open it up a little bit further, we have the top 100. Now, this is all genres that are represented on the Beatport site. So say, for example, we really like this track here, number 6 by Prosper. We're playing that out in our sets, but of course that's going to be quite common in a lot of DJ sets, because of course it is in the top 10. Now, the things that I would be looking at is number 1, the artists, but also as well the record label. So let's look at the main artist first, so Prosper. If we open up, if we click on Prosper on Beatport, this opens up his page now, or their page, because it's a duo. But you can see here we've got the top 10 tracks by that particular artist, first and foremost. So there might be gems in their top 10 that you may not have come across. So that is source number 1. We can also look at the tracks that they've been releasing in release order. And again, there may be some older tracks that have not featured in any charts, but might be absolute gems to play in your DJ sets. So that's something very simple that you could do and very quick and easy to do. But also, artists create their own charts within Beatport. So if we click on charts here, that Prosper Don't Stop selects, go on there, and here we will have these charts that Prosper have selected. And this also covers off different artists that will not have appeared in that top 10. So I think this is really, really quite powerful. And here you can find stuff that they would be playing in their DJ sets potentially. So this is a really, really powerful tool. Now, the second thing that I would say to look at on Beatport is, let's go back to that top 100, is I mentioned looking at the label. So this was released by Circo Loco Atlantic. So let's just click on Circo Loco. Now, so if we click on Circa Loco Records, we now have the top 10 tracks within Circa Loco Records. A lot of Prosper in there, but you can see there's different tracks there. But also you have a look at the tracks. These are all the releases and tracks under the Circa Loco Records label. So again, another way in which you can find artists and tracks that you may not necessarily come across within the top 10. Now, if you also create an account within Beatport and start adding things to playlists, it will then start recommending you tracks that you may also like. So Beatport will start to do some of the work for you, which is really cool. So do experiment with this, do play around with this and add stuff to playlists, because then it starts to get to know your style and it will recommend music that is similar to your style. The second website that I want to introduce you to is BandCamp. Now, a lot of DJs absolutely swear by BandCamp. I personally do. Basically, BandCamp is an online community of smaller artists. You do also get bigger artists that will put music on here that may not necessarily get released with conventional labels, but you can browse for so many edits, original tracks as well, that will not get covered by major labels. So, and here we have all types of music depending on, you know, the genre that you are playing. So if you wanted to look for hip hop or rap, you can do that. But for me, I'm largely house music, so I look at electronic, I look at house, and these are some club tools and different things that you will not find anywhere else. Some of this might be on SoundCloud, but a lot of it is unique to BandCamp, and you are supporting these smaller artists directly. So by doing a little bit of a deeper dive here, you know, you can start finding some stuff that other DJs won't have because they have been too lazy to dig a little bit deeper. So let's have a quick look at some of these edits. I mean, personally, I wouldn't play that, but there's... So that's actually quite a cool edit. That actually might work on one of my sets. So what I could do is buy that individual track. It's literally $1, so under £1 here in the UK. And there is an edit of a commercial track that I can't really find anywhere else, that probably won't be on a record pool, and what is going to make my set that little bit more unique. So that is a really cool search function and a way in which you can make yourself stand out. One thing just to quickly note, going back to Beatport, what I'd recommend doing is once you've found a few tracks that you like that are a bit more obscure, perhaps not in the top 10, do copy and paste the title and artist into your record pool, because it might be that you're able to download it without paying the individual price from Beatport. So I would recommend doing that. So that is my approach when it comes to selecting music. Of course, I do still use the record pools, I still use the charts, but as you can see there, I use a few different sources to delve a little bit deeper to find those edits, remixes, and also tracks that aren't necessarily edits or remixes, but tracks that might be a little bit more obscure and things that just other people are not playing. Now, this does take a little bit of time to do. However, if you fit it into your weekly routine, it just becomes part and parcel of doing the job, and you will just get used to doing it. And it's actually quite a lot of fun. I personally quite like it when I'm playing, or when I know I'm playing something that not many other DJs will have. It just makes my set sound more unique. Now, of course, the other end of this is you could be producing your own edits and remixes, but we're not going to be covering off that ground today. Moving on to the second topic of leveling up today, and this is all around social media. Now, I am not sat here pretending that I am some social media marketing guru. That is not me. However, in doing this YouTube channel and growing it over a number of years, and I've also recently started up a TikTok, which has grown quite significantly in a short space of time, at least in my opinion anyway, I have certainly learned a few things along the way. Number one is when it comes to social media, you need to have an area of focus and you need to be providing value. So when it comes to content on social media, your page or your profile or whatever it is needs to have some kind of theme. People generally don't seem to care about day-to-day life unless you are already some kind of public figure and unless you have an already big enough following. I've certainly learned this with my YouTube, for example. Like, I do DJ vlogs. Now, I actually do vlogs because I think it establishes my credibility as a working DJ. So I will continue to do vlogs because some people do like watching them. However, because I'm not a big name DJ like James Hype, Josh Baker, etc., I know when I put those vlogs out there, they will attract less viewers than a tutorial such as this. Some of my tutorials don't gain as many views as others, but that's another topic. But my vlogs generally don't attract as much. So that then teaches me that I know that vlogs about my general life, my life as a DJ, are not as sought after as giving direct value as a tutorial, for example. So you do need to find some value to give to people. Now, I'm not saying that you now need to go off and produce a DJ page on your social media that is full of really technical transitions and DJ techniques. It could just be finding simple ways to add value. For example, there was someone on TikTok that I found the other week. I cannot remember the name, but they were saying these are my top 5 releases of the week in this particular genre. And there were some releases in there that I didn't hear of before. So I was like, oh, this is really good. I'm going to save that video because I want to see if I can get these tracks when I'm at my laptop. And then I revisited the video and then subsequently downloaded the tracks. That added value to me, and it was a very simple way in which that person or that DJ added some value without being too technical. It could be that you are a technical DJ and you are able to demonstrate some technical skills. It could be that you want to do a page like me, helping other DJs to learn, because your audience will then be other DJs. And then say, for example, you're producing in the background. It could be then a platform to get your music out there to other DJs. So just think about the focus of your page and also the value that you can bring to others. Moving on to my second area of focus. Now, please do not click off when you hear me mention this word because everyone talks about it, but it is true. That is consistency. Now, I'm going to add another layer to this, and I'm going to say consistency that works for you. What do I mean by this? Well, I see DJs all the time. They'll upload 5 pieces of content, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 1 week, and they'll do the same the next week. And then they disappear off the face of the planet for like a month, and then you'll get some weird posts from them like in a month's time saying, sorry, I haven't been around, I've been really, really busy. That post actually could have been avoided, because what they could have done is, rather than uploading, getting ahead of themselves and uploading 10 pieces of content in 2 weeks, what they could have done is split that up and done 2 pieces of content for 2 weeks and have that content over 5 weeks rather than 2 weeks. That would have been a far better use of time, because then that gives you that buffer to be able to create more content for the following weeks. When it comes to YouTube, for example, I know that my schedule allows me to create 1 good video a week. And then what I will do is use my long form videos to form the basis of my short form videos. Yes, I do film my short form videos slightly differently to these long form videos, but I will cover off topics, or I'll break down my topics that I've covered in long form videos, so I already know what I'm saying, and I just basically chop them up into bite-sized chunks for my short form videos, so they're actually quite easy to film. So it's all about working smarter, not harder, but also finding a content schedule that will work for you. Because, and I don't want to sound harsh here, for the average DJ out there, when you're posting stuff up saying, sorry, I've been quiet, or it's been a busy time, most people click away. No one actually cares, because they just want to see the value that is presented to them. So the problem is with that is that people click away from posts like that, and then the next time that you post something that's worthwhile, you potentially don't get served that post because they, you know, the YouTube, the Instagram algorithm, whatever you're looking on, knows that the engagement from the last post was not very good. So just bear that in mind, and I would say work on content schedules, you know, that work for you. If you're able to post once a week, stick to once a week. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to social media. If you are able to post more, then great, go for it. But you need to think about the long-term goals of your platform. The final technique that I want to talk about when it comes to leveling up with DJing off the decks is all about growing and expanding your DJ network. Now, I already have a guide, a step-by-step guide that is, on how to go about getting DJ gigs. This step-by-step process has worked for me over the years. If you want to get that guide, it's completely free of charge. Link is down in the description down below. However, beyond just getting gigs, because it may not happen immediately, find out who the key players are in the market that you want to work in. Who are the promoters? Who are the club managers? If you're going for corporate gigs or private gigs, if it's, say, corporate, find out how those corporate find the DJs, you know, to book. Do they use an agency? Do you need to sign up for that, or do they hire directly? So it's always good to find out and to put yourself in those situations whereby it basically expands your chances of getting those gigs. For example, if you get to know and start to network with your local club DJ, it might be that when that person goes on holiday, if they know you and they know that what you're capable of and the styles that you play, you might be asked to cover. The manager then has that opportunity to see what you're like as a DJ, and then when somebody leaves, then it's an opportunity for you to then take that gig because you are going to be front of mind. This is not about stealing other DJs' gigs, because we're not saying that you're going to start messaging and undercutting DJs and you're going to say, right, I want to take your place. This is all about setting yourself up for long-term success and getting gigs in the right way when suitable vacancies become available. That is always the best approach. The DJ industry is quite small, and so especially here in the UK anyways, so when it comes to, and this does happen, underhand tactics like undercutting DJs or going direct to the manager saying, well, your DJ's not very good, I think I can do a better job. Those are absolute no-nos. If you go about doing it the right way, where it is inquisitive, it's networking, it's making yourself known, that is the positive and the right way to go about things, versus going in and trying to sort of go in via the back door. You are not going to do yourself any favors. So there we have it, some techniques off the decks to level up your DJing when it comes to music, social media, and also networking and expanding your horizons when it comes to getting gigs. Hope that you have found this video useful. Please do give it a thumbs up if you have made it this far. Do subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm doing my best to try and hit 13,000 subscribers. Unlucky for some, maybe, but lucky for me. And I'll catch you in the next video.